everybody, I'm Clooney, and today I'm here to pose a question. Will Hytale be better than cubeworld? Now I should say that within my time being part of the cubeworld community, I noticed that within the cubeworld community there are a lot of topics that come and go within it. However, one of the things that is pretty omnipresent is just how aggressively people debate over whether Hytale or cubeworld is better. But before I get into this, I want to say that I am impartial to both games, and also that both games are not released, so you can't really judge them fairly at this point. That being said, I hope to maybe bring some closure to this argument and debate, at least a little bit. I also just want to say that I have no favoritism to Hytale nor cubeworld. These are just two similar games with fun concepts that I'm actually really interested to play. I really like fantasy settings and survival games, as well as tight RPG mechanics and open worlds to explore and interact with, providing me with experiences that are unique to me. Every game has its ups and downs, and I want to go into both games here, and I'm going to start with both games' strengths, starting with Hytale. And obviously, looking at Hytale, you can tell that it is very inspired by the game that honestly created a whole wave of popularity for this genre as a whole, Minecraft. It's meant to be almost a Minecraft 2, if you will, with a lot more going for it under the hood, so to speak. It is also really stylized and really wears the RPG status on its sleeve. But the thing is, I think that Hytale is a game that will be more oriented towards communities because of how much it takes from Minecraft as compared to cubeworld. You will have bigger open servers where you will have thriving communities of people where certain groups may be traders, some adventurers, other players filling other niches. And I'm going to say this, the game also has an in-game modding support, which is a very small tick for Hytale because as of right now, my understanding is cubeworld doesn't have any supported mod support, rather. It doesn't have mod support from the developers. However, that could change because cubeworld is on Steam now, and for all we know, Steam Workshop support could be added at any time. But while we're on the topic of cubeworld, let's discuss its strengths. Cubeworld is lacking a lot in the creative freedom department. It doesn't need it though. Yeah, there are some minor customization options, though we don't even know if that aspect is still in the game, or at least I can't say that it's still in the game. But what I can say is for what it lacks in open world creative freedom, it makes up for a grand open world adventure game with procedural lore, as well as endless amounts of questing and a tight RPG system that all of this is built around. Cubeworld isn't about creating a big, massive, grand world that you play in. Cubeworld is an RPG for RPG players. It doesn't need the creative stuff because that's not what the game's about. It's about questing, meeting factions, conflict with said factions, playing in a large-scale world that is also universal, as every world uses one seed. So, when you do anything within your save, then go to somebody else's save, you can literally go to their area of questing if you want. It's a big interconnected map, like No Man's Sky, but you know, not garbage. And as we bring up that topic, I want to say this, no games are perfect, except for Dark Cloud, but that was a freak accident. Let's be real here, and bring up each of the game's weaknesses, and spoiler alert, they don't really have too many, but before that, I have an announcement, and it'll be really quick, so don't worry about that. If you've watched this far into the video though, thanks a lot, it really does help. The longer you watch these videos and the more of these videos that you watch, the better my channel does, so I really appreciate it. And I also just want to say we have a Discord link down below, and we are hopefully going to grow the community more and more in there. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, click the bell, and join the Discord. I know you won't regret it. But here we go, on to the negatives of both games. So for one, let's start with cubeworld, because I think that cubeworld has the most potential out of these two games, but also has a lot of potential backlash that could hit it. For one, people might look at it and be disappointed in a similar vein of No Man's Sky. I brought that up before. But the reason why I think cubeworld has a much higher likelihood of getting hit with that sort of backlash is because of the fact that we have been sitting on this game for 6 years. We have been waiting for this game. It's sort of like a Duke Nukem situation, if you will. Duke Nukem was a game that was being made for a very long time until Duke Nukem Forever came out. And then when that game came out, people were very upset because it was a game that was through so much development hell that it just wasn't the same game, and it wasn't of the same quality as people were expecting. That's the thing I'm worried about when it comes to cubeworld, is that it could get hit with that. And I think that that's its biggest weakness, as well as just the potential of the gameplay becoming very grindy with the constant dungeon crawling experiences. Though they have shown in the gameplay trailer that they released that there are some things to break up the monotony of that, such as going to save gnomes from witch cauldrons or whatever. Things like that allow you to sort of have different unique interactions with the world itself. So cubeworld does have some negative drawbacks that it could hit, but they're all sort of not really proven to be even real drawbacks at this point. We just need to wait and see until the game is released, which luckily it's going to be releasing after this weekend when this video gets uploaded. But looking at that and then looking at Hytale, Hytale doesn't really have that many weaknesses or chinks in the armor that I can see, except for maybe just how the game functions in single player. cubeworld has a leg up on that because depending on how Hytale is, if it's a whole big open world with NPCs and things like that, just like cubeworld is, then it might have a standing fighting chance against cubeworld. But instead, if it's like Minecraft where it's barren and there's no NPCs besides, a couple of villagers or whatnot, it's not gonna be very good or very fun, or even really all that more compelling to play over Minecraft, besides the fact that Minecraft has less content, is less, RPG focused, whereas Hytale is more RPG focused. But if a lot of the aspects of the game that are RPG focused kind of suffer from the fact that there's not enough players in a server or even playing it single player, that could be a problem and that could actively hurt the game. Not only that, but Hytale is kind of stigmatized. It's a Minecraft clone and it doesn't have as big of a way to defend itself against that title or moniker like cubeworld does. cubeworld is unique enough to where it can be, its own thing. You look at cubeworld and people might say, oh, that's a Minecraft clone. But those are the people who really look at it on a surface level. Anyone that takes any amount of time to look at the game, they'll know, okay, this is different from Minecraft, it's not the same. Whereas, if you look at Hytale, Hytale looks like a Minecraft mod, and that's the biggest issue that it has, is that it literally just looks like a Minecraft mod. And that's kind of an issue when you're trying to differentiate yourself from the other games in your genre, It kind of makes it harder to get people to want to buy it. And I haven't even gotten into the biggest weakness both of these games have, which they share a major weakness in that they are fairly likely to be stigmatized as games for children, just like Minecraft was for many years, and it was seen as really cringy. But unironically, Minecraft is a really good game with an amazing community and tons of people to meet and interact with, all united under a game that I would argue was one of the most influential games of our time. And cubeworld and Hytale, both despite being very different games that kind of have a conflict going on over a space right now, in all honesty, they're the same. I think that it's a good aspect to bring to the table when you think about it, because these games aren't kids' games. They're good games. Games that are timeless, that you can come back to regardless of how old you are. Or you can introduce to people younger than you and bond with them on it. These games are timeless, from the way that they are designed down to the art style, which, while not technically impressive, won't age like a jug of milk. Like, say, PlayStation 1 era games. Yeah, they might be fun, but they're also very hard on the eyes. Instead, these games are designed with this art style in mind, and honestly, I think that they rock these art styles better than any other game that I've seen. So now we come back to the question, which game is better, Cubeworld or Hytale? And honestly, until they're both released, I cannot give a definitive answer on this, but what I can say is this. These games arguably both compete for the same space, but I don't think that they have to be competing over it for dominance rather than coexisting with each other. These games are different enough to where you can play both of them and get wildly different experiences. And honestly, you should play them and get different experiences. It's important that you expand your horizons, rather, with these games and sort of play them and learn what works and what doesn't. And honestly, these games are both really promising looking, and I have a lot of high hopes for both of them. But that's my take on the situation, and if you have an opinion that you would like to share, I would love to hear it in the comments below. So please leave your comments down below, because I really want to hear this stuff. And if you want to talk to me more directly and have an actual discussion and debate about this, you can actually find me on my Discord. I will always be available there. You can always just message me and I will get back to you eventually. Message me on the server, not DMing, because that will blow up my DMs and that will make things very hard for me. But for real though, hit me up on Discord, the server. And also be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more, because the more likes and comments and subscriptions I can get, the more I feel driven to make more content for you guys, because it really does help boost my morale a little bit, you know? So yeah, see you next time. I hope you have a wonderful day. We just hit 30 subs, so let's keep growing. Come on. See you next time. Bye-bye.